JJ here again, and this video is about fuzz faces. Not about a particular model of fuzz face pedals, but about fuzz faces in general. For demoing purposes, I'll be using a blue silicon-equipped Jimi Hendrix fuzz by Dunlop Manufacturing, and I've also got a lovely red 1990s reissue fuzz face that has germanium transistors, so you'll be able to hear the difference between germanium and silicon fuzz faces. I will give you a quick history lesson, and I will also talk a little bit about the learning curve, because the fuzz face is a pedal that you typically have to learn how to play, in my opinion. And I will also use it in conjunction with a Dunlop Crybaby wah, both in front of the fuzz face and after the fuzz face, so you can hear what that sounds like. In the intro song you heard the red Germanium Fuzz Face. This one is from the 1990s. I bought it used, and as you can see it doesn't have a smile on the rubber pad, so it's a smileless fuzz face. And I'm not really sure what the difference is with the ones that do have a smile. I think it's just a certain period that they made them like this. And for that intro song, both knobs were set to maximum, and I controlled the sound by using my guitar's volume and tone knobs. The other fuzz face that I have is a silicon equipped Jimi Hendrix fuzz, a JHF1 fuzz face with BC108 silicon transistors. I bought this one used as well. It had a 9-volt adapter socket installed by a previous owner, and I swapped the input and output jacks on the inside and resoldered them because I think that's more convenient. On most effects pedals the input is on the right side and the output on the left hand side, but they're switched on a fuzz face, as you can see by the text labels, and that's not very practical when you're using multiple effects pedals. So technically there's nothing really different on this one. After the modification, it's just a lot more practical. I never really used the 9-volt adapter with the fuzz face because I think it sounds better with a battery, and this is just a Duracell alkaline battery. New batteries are installed in both of these fuzz faces. They even say that carbon zinc batteries sound a little bit better in fuzz face pedals, and I will do a quick comparison video later on because I ordered some carbon zinc batteries online. They're not very easy to get in the Netherlands, so you can hear if there's any difference in sound and what the difference is. When you first start using a fuzz face, you'll notice that it's got quite a bit of a learning curve. It doesn't sound all that good straight out of the box running into clean amp with your controls up full. So let me just give you a brief lesson on how I use the fuzz face and how to get different sounds out of it. I've got my amp set to the clean channel with just a little bit of dirt, so when you really dig in on the guitar you're going to hear just a little bit of distortion. I like it that way. Like that. Now I'll turn both controls on the fuzz face, both the volume and the fuzz, all the way up, and turn my guitar volume all the way down. I'm playing a Telecaster and I'm on the bridge pickup. And then roll up the guitar's volume gradually. There's the fuzz face. The volume at about 2 with just a nice overdrive sound. And even on different pickups, it sounds nice. That's the neck pickup, and both pickups together with the volume just rolled up to about 4. Let's roll up the volume even more and go back to the bridge pickup. So it already starts to become fuzzy. It's kind of a 70s style distortion. And mind you, I haven't touched the pedal a bit. Okay, just a little more volume. turn it up full. Back to my normal rhythm tone. And there's no giant increase in overall volume, just the texture and the color and the amount of drive is different with each position of the volume knob. Here's a quick history lesson. The fuzz face design is as old as the 1960s, so about 50 years at the moment of shooting this video. And it's based on the tone bender design, the Vox tone bender, which is a very archaic fuzz pedal consisting of about 13 parts. The fuzz face also has a very simple circuit. There was also another famous fuzz pedal in the 1960s, which was the Maestro Fuzz, which was used by Keith Richards on Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. And those fuzz pedals looked really boring and grey, and that's why the fuzz face became so popular, because it's a very distinctive design with its round shape, the two knobs representing the eyes, of course, and then the rubber pad sort of looking like a goatee, and the foot switch, which is supposed to be the nose. So marketing wise, it's a very clever design, and that's probably one of the reasons it's still around today. The shape was based on the foot of microphone stands they would use in the 60s, which were also disc shaped. Now at the very heart of the fuzz face design lie the transistors, and the earliest fuzz faces used germanium transistors, NKT275 transistors, two metal cans. And those are always in a pair, so there are always two transistors in a fuzz face. And if those transistors are matched properly, you can sound amazing. The problem with germanium transistors was that they were highly temperamental. They would sound different on any given day, or depending on your cat's mood, you know. Then towards the end of the 1960s, they ran out of germanium transistors and started using silicons, because those were more readily available. First BC183s and later on BC108 silicon transistors, and they sounded less woolly, a little more edgy, and had more of a biting sort of sound. The Jimi Hendrix model that I'm using today has BC108 transistors, and the red Dunlop reissue has NKT275 transistors, so you'll be able to hear the difference between those two later on in this video. A lot is said about vintage fuzz faces and how great they are, but I advise you, if you're going shopping for a vintage fuzz face, make sure that you try out lots of different fuzz face pedals, because they all sound different, and that has a lot to do with the matching of the transistors. If you have a great sounding fuzz face, then it has a properly matched set of germanium or silicon transistors. So a match made in heaven between those two can give you a really great guitar sound. In the 1980s, Dunlop Manufacturing in the US made a black fuzz face shaped pedal called the Jimi Hendrix Fuzz. Then there was a lawsuit. I'm not quite sure whether they won or not, but anyway, Dunlop started manufacturing fuzz faces from the early 1990s, and those were also reissues from earlier fuzz face models. Okay, let's do a side-by-side comparison of the red Germanium Fuzz Face and the blue Silicon Fuzz Face. I'll play the same thing twice. First time around with the Germanium, and then the second time with the Silicon Fuzz Face, and I'll try and play different stuff so that you can get a good idea of what the tonal differences are between Germanium and Silicon Fuzz. Fuzz is turned up all the way, and I've set the volume so that both pedals are just as loud. Here's my clean sound. And here's the Germanium. Silicon. Okay, now I'll turn the guitar's volume control back to about 7, see what that sounds like. Let's see how far we can clean up the sound with the Germanium Fuzz Face. This is guitar's volume at 7. There. It was almost gone. Now just turn it up a little bit. Here we go. And just do the same thing with the Silicon. Okay, let's go with the controls up full again and get that creamy neck pickup sound. I like them both. The red Germanium Fuzz Face sounded very smooth, had lots of low end, not a lot of top end, lots of gain also, and it sounded, well, very pleasant to my ears. It cleaned up really well, almost to about the same level as it is without the pedal and the guitar's controls up full. I don't think it would sound as nice with a humbucker equipped guitar, but with the Telecaster, which is a pretty bright guitar, it sounds really nice. I also really like my Jimi Hendrix fuzz. It has a more pronounced mid-range, I think. It didn't clean up as well as the other pedal, but this one sounds more focused to my ear. So different sounds, different flavors. There's always a lot of discussion about using wah with fuzz together. Should you go fuzz into wah, or should you go wah into fuzz, and which sounds better? I think the problem originates from the fact that the fuzz face always likes to be first in the signal chain, so no other effects running in front of it and nothing else, no buffer tuners between guitar and fuzz face, and because it's so sensitive to your guitar's controls. First I will run the fuzz into wah, and then I will run wah into fuzz. I'm using the Jimi Hendrix model, not for any particular reason other than it's really easy to see that I'm going fuzz into wah first because of the pedal order. So my guitar goes right into the Jimi Hendrix fuzz, into the wah, and hear what that sounds like. And here's the wah going into the fuzz, so the wah first. But when you put the wah first and then the fuzz, together they can create self-oscillation. When the rocker pedal is in a certain position, such as now when I engage the fuzz, you get this really, really horrible sound. Check it out. Absolutely dreadful. I think this is also the reason why most people would want to put the fuzz face first and then go into the wah. The fuzz face doesn't really like any pedals to be in front of it to sound the best. It's not a bad sound, it is playable, and I guess it's a matter of opinion. Remember that Jimi Hendrix, he would use both ways around, so wah into fuzz, fuzz into wah, but then again, if you listen closely, he never really used the fuzz face and the wah together, so that's also a common misconception. I think the fuzz face pedal will never go out of style. It's been around for decades and with good reason. It looks cool, it sounds great, especially if you learn how to play it, because it's a pedal that you really have to learn how to play, as I said earlier in this video. If you've never played a fuzz face, I highly recommend you go and try one out in your music shop and see what the fuzz is all about, pun intended. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe. Go to my Facebook page, here's the URL. See you next time, JJ out.